Hi guys, so in this video let's talk about embracing change, right? And I know it's a topic that a lot of us kind of cringe when we hear it, right? Because change is very uncomfortable, right? We get set in our own ways, right? We develop a pattern of doing things and being, right? Every day you go through, you're kind of unconsciously through life. Um, and that repetition brings you some kind of comfort, right? Because it is oftentimes very uncomfortable to do something different, to try something different, right? So we try to keep ourselves in this little bubble, just doing the same thing every day, talking to the same people every day, right? But in life, sometimes, things will happen that are not foreseen, right? Whenever you have a plan and get into a really comfortable routine, life has a way of throwing stuff at you and pushing you out of that comfortable space. So becoming comfortable with change is something that we should all try to do every day, right? Because there's only real one constant in this life, right? As cliche as that sounds, but that's change, right? Everything else changes, right? You grow, you have different experiences, maybe you have different jobs, right? Or you develop new relationships, or one ends, another one begins, but sooner or later something in your life will change, and most people basically are so afraid of it, right? That change may be positive, right? You don't know how it's going to affect you long term, right? So it may, in the long run, it may be something beneficial for you, or something you really wanted but were afraid to go after, right? But when change happens in that moment, we all kind of tense up, and we go to our, like I said, comfort zone, and go to our worst case scenario, and that's not a good way to be, right? Because even let's use, your job, right? Something can happen, you can lose your job, right? And then what are you gonna do? Are you gonna just, crumble and hide away and stuff, right? Or are you gonna see it as, inevitable change, that maybe something later on will something good will come of it, right? Or maybe relationships, right? Sometimes relationships, and I'm not talking about boyfriend girlfriend stuff like that, but even friendships, right? Sometimes things change out of nowhere, right? It could be leading up to it, but could be out of nowhere, and then you're devastated. And try the number one tip is probably try to go with the flow, okay? Because I'm a big proponent of not knowing how whatever happens to you now is going to affect you in the future, right? You don't know how that one change, uncomfortable change that you focus on, how that little change might sway your life in a different direction, right? So the more comfortable you become, the less excuse me, the less reactive you will be, right? You will kind of go with the flow, as opposed to trying to fight everything, right? So like I said, if you lose your that job or that relationship, or you get derailed on some goal that you have, right? Don't freak out. This is a normal part of life, and you should embrace it, right? Because like I said, what if that leads to something you never saw before, right? It's hard to foresee everything. We are just so caught up in the moment, right? Thinking, oh, this is so horrible. Now I have to get out of your comfort zone. Yes, but the only way to grow in this life, right, is to change, is to grow, is to get out of your little comfortable bubble, right? Now, sure, you can be in that comfortable bubble every day, and if you're perfectly happy, then you know what, good for you, right? But I'm talking to the ones who do want something different, maybe, right? And to get something different, you will have to do something different, right? Whether that's, you have some kind of vision for your life, and you have to get out of your comfort zone to achieve that, right? Because like that saying, like if you keep doing the same thing, you will end up in the same place, right? You need to do something different. So change is a big part of it, and I know it's uncomfortable, but I honestly believe it's worth making your own effort to make that change, and it's a conscious change on your part, as opposed to life eventually just throwing something at you and you have to change regardless, right? Sooner or later it's going to come, so it's up to you whether you kind of take control of it, right? Embrace it, roll with it, right? Or whether life eventually will kick you around a little, push you around, right? And then, like I said, you're fighting that change. It's very uncomfortable, right? So be proactive and try to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? And that's the only way to grow, right? That's the only way to learn and make some progress in this life and in your life, right? So that's my little speech about change. If it resonates with you, right, please like, share, subscribe, and also please comment, right? What are your maybe some helpful tips that you're aware of, that you use in your life that help you to deal with when unforeseen circumstances arise, right? And there's nothing else but to make that transition to something different. So, like I said, hope this was helpful and see you in the next one. Thanks.